Hey, it's Kim, and I got a rant. So last night, the Daily Mail released an interview with Britney Spears' dad. Now, full disclosure, right now I'm on a big time limit. My mom is having a holiday party, and my mom and my family are always my first priority. So I wanted to get this done. I wanted to give you guys something, but it's not going to be as edited and polished as I would like it to be. So I know you guys want to know what I think. So here we go. Things that I reference. Normally, I would put up why I'm referencing it on screen, so there is a source to back up what I'm saying. I'm going to put those in the description. I am confident in what I'm about to say, as much as I understand that this video will contain speculation. I think there is a misconception sometimes with people when they talk about me being a Britney fan, that they think that I am what is called a yes queen fan. I've heard it being referred to as, which basically means that in my understanding of the definition is that I am someone who would say that Britney's never done anything wrong and that everything's perfect. Now, I think those of you that watch me on a regular basis know that that's absolutely not the case. I have been consistently saying for a long time that no, Britney's not okay, but that it's okay that she's not okay, because no one would be okay after going through what she's been through. And I've also been very vocal as a trauma survivor myself that trauma recovery is not linear. There is no, okay, you start getting help, so it's all up from here. It doesn't work that way. As you start to get help, as you start going through things, you have to dig up stuff. And a lot of the time, it gets worse. It gets so much worse before it gets better, and that is normal. And I've also seen a lot of people saying that Britney doesn't believe in therapy. And so that's probably why she's, doing all the things that she's doing, because she doesn't believe in therapy and she thinks she's fine. Britney has never said that she's fine. Britney has admitted to being in therapy on a weekly basis, as well as doing horse therapy too. And she has admitted to also being on medications and having a medical team. She is doing the things that people do to get better. But everyone's version of better is different, and everyone's progress in that is different. And quite bluntly, that progress is none of our business. It never has been, and it never will be. So to that point, I'm sorry, James Spears. You getting up on this pedestal and saying you love your daughter with everything in you and you saved her life, when literally a couple of days ago, your appeal against Judge Penny's decision to not have her be deposed was thrown out. You couldn't take Judge Penny saying, no, she's not going to be deposed. You had to appeal that, and that got thrown out. You also tried to expose her medical records, which, again, is not anybody's freaking business. None of our business. And to be blunt with you, I would not be surprised if there's other things going on right now, but again, it's not my business. And quite bluntly, unless she wants to talk about it, she shouldn't have to. You guys are not entitled to everything that is wrong with me. You are not entitled to my medical records because you see me on a screen talking to you, nor is her medical information subject to public knowledge. It should not be. And trying to violate someone's privacy in that manner should tell you everything you need to know about a person. He was ready to try and humiliate her again. And he didn't get his way, and then all of a sudden, boom, this article drops. That should be the most transparent thing in the world. I don't know how to lay that out any clearer. This is about a narrative. This article is purely about a narrative, but the narrative does not match the facts. There's one section here in this article that I also want to just talk about, because there seems to be now this dialogue that's starting that Kevin Federline and James Spears are now besties and everything's fantastic, but we're just going to ignore the fact that Kevin literally served James with a restraining order a couple of years ago after attacking his son. So, okay, I guess everything's good with that now. That sounds like a really healthy relationship. And apparently the two of them are now working together for Kevin writing a book about parenting. I'm curious, did anyone wake up today and go, the one thing that is missing from my life is a parenting book written by Mr. Popo Zhao? I'm just curious because it definitely wasn't in my household. Part of what James talks about here, and I'm just going to read this section of the article here because it bothers me. Here we go. My relationship with Kevin gave them a sense of peace, as in the children, of protection. Kevin will tell you this too. It was us who raised the kids. I just did what I was supposed to do or felt like I needed to do. And was that what you were doing when the restraining order happened? I'm just curious. I'm just trying to understand. I didn't make any decisions on my own. The team of people were me, my associate, which I think we all can guess who that is, and Kevin. And we could all take the kids to the doctor and to school. At that time, Kevin had a lot going on. I'm sure he did. I mean, his record was just blowing up at the time. And he had so many reality shows that were going on at the time as well. And the conservatorship made it that the boys never left that house without security. They didn't go to school one day without lunch. Is that the bar? Is that the bar of good parenting? That you fed the kids? The article closes like this. Today, now retired, Jamie is ever hopeful of reconciliation. He doesn't regret the conservatorship and won't be drawn on whether he thought it went on too long. He said, I can't answer that question. You can answer it yourself. Just look at how things are now. I'm going to attempt to explain this, and I want to preface it by saying I understand that this is an incredibly sensitive topic and a very difficult one. And I can only talk about things from my perspective. So understanding that I don't have the whole picture, likely because I'm not there, and that's fine, and I don't need to be there, that's fine. There's something about that statement that really, really bothers me. And it is, bluntly put, ableism. Britney Spears has not done anything illegal. She hasn't hurt anybody. She's living her life. And her worst offense at this point is her dancing around in her shower, half naked, while recording a video. That is not a reason for someone to lose their freedom. That's not a reason for someone to be controlled. People have the right to do what they want to do with their bodies. They have the right to do what they want to do with their life. It's their life. James has his own life. And he's made many choices through that life that I would find to be very questionable. So perhaps he should not be the one making the decision about how somebody else should be living. There is lack of substantial documentation throughout this conservatorship that proves that the conservatorship was necessary. A conservatorship is put into place for people who cannot care for themselves, such as not being able to feed themselves, clothe themselves, go to the bathroom on their own, and things of that nature. That is not Britney Spears. You can hate what she's doing. You can think that it's stupid. You can think that she's being irresponsible. You can think that she's being a bad mom. You can have all of those thoughts, but that doesn't mean that she deserves to have her human rights taken away. But we've somehow equated this idea that if someone doesn't behave in the manner that people feel to be acceptable, that they don't deserve to have free will and to live like everybody else. And that is a very dangerous road to go down. It is very scary. There's so much hypocrisy in this whole situation and the things that I've heard James Spears say. And quite bluntly, I don't even want to go further into it because I don't want to pour gasoline on this fire. I don't want to promote this nonsense. I don't want to elevate his voice. I understand that, people want to know what I think about this because they want my perspective. My perspective, plain and simple, is I don't care about a word that is coming out of his mouth because it is garbage. It is infuriating. And James lost all credibility with me a long time ago. And the fact that anyone would even consider taking him seriously in any form baffles my mind. The other thing I just wanted to say, because I've had a lot of people messaging me about this and leaving comments and DMing me and things like that, is that Perez Hilton posted a video where he basically talked for 5 minutes about nothing. But in those 5 minutes, he said something to the effect of that he talked to a source that he hadn't talked to in a long time that basically said that there's something wrong, but none of the conspiracy theorists have it right. So here's my take. I don't buy into a lot of the conspiracy theories that are going on right now with Britney. I don't believe she's dead. I don't believe she's been cloned. I don't believe there is still a secret conservatorship going on. I do believe in some respects there is a care plan. Now, my intuition and from what I've seen, I believe that care plan is very basic in the sense of that it's very difficult to give someone back an empire after they haven't had it for a long time. I don't think people understand that there's over 30 companies underneath Britney's name. Giving her back all of those companies and all the responsibilities that go around with those companies, it's difficult. It's taken time. And as far as her medical stuff is going on, it's a transition. She hasn't really had a say in her medical care for a very long time. Getting those responsibilities back, it can be a bit, and if there are people that are appointed to help her make that transition, I don't see anything wrong with that. And I know people say they want to know more about the care plan, but in my opinion, those types of care plans are usually pretty confidential, and at the end of the day, none of our business. And the other thing is, I don't like talking about any of these theories because the problem is, again, I feel like I'm pouring gasoline on a fire, that I'm making it bigger than it is, because there's been so many of these things that people have been like, nah, 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 we haven't done this. And then something happens and then they're like, oh, but this. And they go on to the next thing. It's never going to be enough. Short of Britney being in one of these people's basements and then being able to check in on her every day and monitor her 24/7, there's never going to be enough information. Britney is entitled to privacy, and none of us are entitled to any information that she does not wish to share with us, period, end of discussion. And again, Perez saying there's something wrong. Yes, there is. We have a woman who is recovering from something horrific. And she's doing it in front of the public eye and having people tear her apart. And as far as Perez Hilton is concerned, literally in April of this year, he liked a comment on Instagram, I believe, or was a social media of some kind. I talked about it in a previous video. I'll put the link in the description, where he liked a comment about her being sent back into the loony bin. I'm sorry, but I don't trust what's coming out of him. I don't trust what he has to say. I just don't. Now, that doesn't mean that what he's saying could not be true. It very well could be. But again, it's none of our business. And the only thing that we can do, I think, as fans is be positive, be supportive, let her live her life. So that all being said, I think it is obvious that Britney's processing a lot right now, and it must be incredibly difficult. So as always, my love goes out to her, and I just hope that she's going to be okay. And I hope that she has the safety and the ability to not be okay if she's not. Because sometimes we just need to not be okay. And it's okay to not be okay. I've said it before, I have noticed this culture of entitlement when it comes to Britney. That people feel like they are deserving of a piece of her. And they're not. She owes us nothing. Absolutely nothing. She's free. She's going to live her life the way that she wants to. And that may not be in the way that other people want her to. But that's her right. That's her decision to make. So that's it. Those are my thoughts. I'm sorry this isn't as polished and everything else and jokes being thrown in and whatnot. There's vacuuming up above me, which is not going to stop, and it's going to be squeaky, so I definitely have to stop recording now. Well, that's it. Much love.